everybody. Thank you for joining me. My name is Carlos. Today we're going to be getting into the last session of the week, which is delt and arms. And usually this workout tends to be kind of like a fun day. I wouldn't call it a deload. I'm not that structured. I'm not doing a powerlifting training block. I'm not doing anything so incredibly detailed or structured. Yet I do write everything I do. I write everything I work out. I keep track and log every lift. But today is a special day. It's a mental deload. And according to how I feel or how I've trained during the week, I adjust and modify the training of that day. So usually arm day will involve obviously biceps and triceps, shoulders, front, medial, and rear delts. And that's usually what I do for the day. But today I stuck with only biceps and front delts. Why? Why just biceps? I'm saving my triceps for Monday. I wanted to hit PRs on my Smith incline bench press. I've been making really fun increases and improvements there. So I told myself on my last workout, the only thing that was lacking was a little bit of lockout due to a bit of triceps fatigue. I trained them very hard the Friday before, and Monday is my chest day. So maneuvering in that sense, trying to mitigate fatigue and have optimum strength levels for that purpose. So today it was biceps. Now getting into the biceps session, I like to go as heavy as possible on the Z curl. On the cambered curl, I like to do these as heavy as possible on a top set. Now, this gets a lot of people upset. It's very bizarre. I grew up watching bodybuilding in the 70s, like in the mid to late 70s, early 80s, and I remember that lifting heavy biceps was a thing. Larry Scott used to do 100-pound dumbbells on the preacher curl. I think he invented the preacher curl for the purpose of ballooning up his biceps. And it wasn't until recently that I see that people are very wary and they seem to be very concerned about biceps tears and your back. I hear this a lot. Like, if you do this to the most minimal degree, you're going to hurt your lower back. I actually laughed out loud. When somebody wrote a comment that I was going to herniate my spine by heaving with a 125-pound Z curl or 145 pounds. And instantly, the first thing that came to my mind was the mountain, half Thor, doing the keg throws, like these 200-kilo keg throws. I don't know how much they weigh. And of course, it's all about bending over and heaving with your spine. 145 pounds, guys, that's nothing. That's like nothing. Anyways, I have to bring this in because this is what I hear on the comment section. You're going to hurt yourself, injuries, that's not the way to do it. And I have a whole video library of people doing very heavy biceps curls with like 2 plates. I remember Arnold Schwarzenegger with his famous 2.5 plate biceps curls, 300 pounds. That might not be the best way to develop your biceps as a standalone system, but I'm sorry, I have to laugh because it is amazing, like the ignorance of these people. It's just astounding. And I have to wonder, whether they're training with 30, 40-pound dumbbells for their entire careers. First of all, I find that stultifying. I find that very boring. And it will never build up your strength. The Z curl used to be I think it was the Z curl, or anyways, the standing biceps curl used to be part of the powerlifting circuit. So it is a power move. It is a move that is legit to get strong on, to be able to grab something and lift it up with your arms. It is a thing. So I like to get strong on this, building it up to 145 pounds, which is the 20-kilo plate and the 10 pounds on each side. Before I could only get like 1 or 2 reps, and now I'm getting 4 reps. I'll be working on that for a while. And can you tear a biceps? You can hurt yourself doing just about anything, really. And I've seen people tear their biceps with minimal amount of weight. And if this is going to be a concern of yours, like tearing a bicep or tearing a pec or hurting yourself, my advice is don't lift weights. Do another activity. Do calisthenics. Do whatever. But don't lift weights. Now, if you're going to lift weights, try to be good at it. I'm not even going to say try to stay safe, because this is more of an issue of mental coordination, and knowing your body. Because if you're stiff, you can hurt yourself. Sure, you can hurt yourself walking down the street, trip over, bust your knee, twist your ankle. What? You're not going to walk anymore? You kill yourself driving. What? You're not going to drive anymore? And not even of your own fault. Some drunk driver might, T-bone you or hit you through, in the back, in the rear of the car. Anyways, these over concerns with injury are projections of people's fear. So let's get that out of the way. Yeah, I don't use extreme strict form when I'm doing the heavy weight. I do, as the weight is lower, it's easier strict form because you want to intensify the movement. But as you get into the outer limits of your strength, this is called the cheat curl. And when you ask any of the old school or top bodybuilders, is it legit? They will throw in this caveat. Sure, if it's the last few reps. Everybody is trying to be politically correct, when the truth is sometimes they'll do it from the start. You just can't admit that. You just can't go and tell the truth, because people will always be criticizing something. They'll find fault with it. Well, that's not the way it's done. You got to do it like this. So what? I like to lift heavy weight. So we're building that up. Can't wait to try 2 plates. I know that's really heavy. Like 2 plates on each side, which would be like 205 pounds with the Z curl. At this point, I couldn't get 1 rep. I couldn't cheat it up. I couldn't, but I'm building it up. I'm getting closer. Anyway, so started out with the Z curl. Took plenty of time warming up with lighter weights. And moved into the concentration curl. Now here, we've kind of maxed out with 50-pound dumbbells. 50-pound dumbbell is a reasonably heavy weight to get good on. So I built it out originally from 4 to 5 reps. Now we're to 10, 11 reps. And since I'm not going to make the following jump up to 60 pounds for the time being, I'm doing drop sets. These drop sets are really, really effective. They take the set deeper into the fatigue area, into the pain zone, which is where you want to be if you want to build muscle. You want to do enough reps and build in enough muscle stimulus to build, to be in that pain. For that to happen, you have to be in the pain zone. In other words, it's not really accomplished with lower reps. Lower reps are great for building strength. They will build mass according to your diet. No, this is another misconception I see people say, well, will this exercise build mass? And I say, well, not if you're not eating enough. There's nothing. What builds mass is your food. People have the wrong schemata in their brains. They think that lifting adds molecules and clay to their sculpture. It's not the lifting that does that. It's the food. How simple. It's the food that will get you big. Now, if you don't want to get a big gut, but big biceps, you have to stimulate that muscle. Now, yes, heavier weight, by and large, will increase the mass of your muscles if you are eating accordingly. The heavier the weight, the greater the load, the greater the amount of work with that load, i.e. volume, the greater the possibility of developing greater size. So, getting that out of the way. We continue with the front delt raises. Now, this is another exercise that seems to be more politically, it has more ideologies in politics. When you see somebody do this on the internet, you'll see more videos saying that it is an unnecessary movement than how to do it properly. And of course, the old school guys, everybody was doing front raises with heavy weights, with like 80-pound dumbbells. Seen Branch Warren doing them with 110-pound dumbbells. Why would you do, and he was doing heavy overhead presses. And I said, you don't do front delt raises because you get enough stimulus from your bench press. See Steve Shaw there are all these channels out there. I'm sure Athlete X, I'm sure everybody that's somebody on the internet that is a popular influencer will tell you you don't need to do front raises, because the reason being you get in enough stimulus from your heavy bench presses, heavy inclines, and overhead presses. I believe that. I thought that was true. But my front delts weren't growing. One day, my instinct kicked in. This was like just recently, and I said, well, start doing some front raises. And I did, with like 15, 20-pound dumbbells. 15, 20-pound dumbbells. I had a great pop. Noticed a little bit of change visually the next day, and I said, and it did not affect my bench press. It didn't affect it negatively, like in decreasing the energy that I had to perform. So I started upping the weight, and it's getting bigger and getting better results, and up to the point of doing these 50-pound dumbbells, and it feels smooth. Somebody said I was struggling. Sure, when I first started a couple of weeks ago, I struggled with the 50-pound, with the 40-pound dumbbells. But that's another ridiculous statement. That's an asinine, backward statement. If you're not struggling, what the hell are you doing with your weights? Everything is like, got elevator music on. It's like everything is so smooth. You don't break form. Everything is like perfect. You're not lifting enough weight. You're struggling? God, in Dubai, at Beno's gym, they have a big, big sign up there. So without struggle, there is no strength. Without struggle. If you aren't struggling on certain lifts, you're not trying hard enough. You have to struggle on some lifts. It can't be like a permanent issue where everything is so difficult you're not able to achieve enough volume. Like, I struggle to get 2 reps. Well, that might not be the way. Sure, for a try to build up to get it to 3, and then from 3 to 4 to 5 and 6, there's a time and a place, and it's for that set. You're not training every single set, which is such a great struggle you can't perform it. Yeah, I understand that. I think that's pretty reasonable. But you have to struggle with the weights. You have to on certain, it has to be a challenge. If you're not challenging yourself, and if your form is so strict that you are unable to increase your poundages significantly, your strict form is killing your gains. Literally, they're holding you back. Absolutely. You should be lifting heavier by now. Even on the isolation exercises, you should be lifting heavier. So, and I finished with the front delt. So that was basically it. So to recap, Z-bar, going from light to heavy on a typical pyramid scheme, topping out with a 20 kilo and a 5 kilo on each side. Then we went to the front delt, starting off with 25 pounds, building to 35, and then the 50s, and then once we hit the 50s, we do drop sets, 50s, 30s, 25s. And that was it for the session. Nonetheless, got in plenty of volume for those 2 movements. It was a great mental deload session. Can't wait to do it again. And of course, I'll be training my triceps and rear delts and all of that to a greater degree in my next sessions. It was just a break from the routine and holding back a little bit. Now the diet, we're on a bulk. Bulking again, which means still on a diet, still weighing my food, still keeping everything in check. And as the carbs increase, as the calories increase, the fats must be very carefully restrained. You do not eat carelessly, especially on a bulk. If you're going to be careless on a bulk, you will get fat. You'll lose your abs. Your love handles will blow out. You'll get a big gut. Your energy levels will go down. You'll get bigger, you get fatter, your estrogen's going to go up. And so all these things are detrimental for your long-term bodybuilding goals. So don't be careless on a bulk. When you are on a bulk, you have to be more careful than when you're dieting to whittle down. You have to be, or else you will get fat. It's hard to eat so many carbohydrates and not increase your fat. But remember, when you're eating so many calories and your body has ready access to all the glycogen and sugar that it wants for energy, and you're eating like, whole eggs and putting lots of extra fat and everything, you're doing cheat meals, which are high fat meals, all that extra fat will go to your fat cells. It will be stored away. It won't be used as energy. You already have plenty of energy from all these calories. So what's going to happen? It'll just be stored, all that extra fat. So this is why professional bodybuilders, when they're on a bulk, go high carb and maintain the fats very low. By and large, most of them, it depends on the person. Some people have fat burning metabolisms and there's different situations, but by and large, at least for me, I have to limit my dietary fat to a very large degree. I basically keep it almost the same as when I'm on a cut. Now, the last observation, whether you're on a cut or on a bulk, you should be training as hard as possible. It's the training at the end of the day which gives the stimulus to build and to retain your muscle when you're on a cut. So training should always be like the primary focus. This is what we do. We're bodybuilders, and bodybuilders by definition are weightlifters. We lift weights. You can get very pedantic and academic about the categories. Some people, that's powerlifting. Oh, that's strongman. That's CrossFit. No, you can do it all. I mean, you can incorporate everything. A bodybuilder has so many tools. It's the most varied, and you can access the most amount of tools in bodybuilding than just about any other activity. Others, like a sports-specific training system, will be limited. Powerlifting, if you're in that category and you want to bind yourself to that category, you are limited. I only do hypertrophy, and so you don't do strength. You are limited. But every bodybuilder that I follow, all the top 10 Mr. Olympias and Arnold competitors, they do heavy lifting, they do light lifting, they do all kinds of lifting. But there is one thing that generally characterizes them all. They're freaking stronger than you or me. And how do they get to be that way? By lifting heavy weight. They don't listen to this mantra. Lower the weight. You lower the weight. Yeah, you lower it down to your chest and you push it up as hard as you can. Anyways, that'll be all for today. God bless everybody. Thank you for joining me. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We'll see you on our next rant. Today, arm and shoulder day, basically centered on biceps and front delts. So we started out with the Z curl, strict, very lightweight. Here I think we only have about 10, 20, 50 pounds on the bar total, including the bar. Just getting a nice little warm up there, nice pump, sinking into the mind-muscle connection, building up some speed. Here we're taking it up 22 pounds at a time. So this movement, I enjoy trying to use heavy weight with my top set. This used to be a power move. Back a long time ago, they would include the heavy biceps curl into the powerlifting moves. It's not done anymore. And I get a great satisfaction from getting stronger. This 125 pound Z curl used to be very, very challenging. I remember barely getting 4 or 5 reps. And I still struggle a bit. I mean, it's not light, it still has weight. You never make things so easy that they're weightless. And here we go up to our top set with big plate and a 5 kilo on each side, 145 pounds, which I was unable to basically perform even one. Now I think we're up to 4 reps. Somebody said I was going to hurt my back. And no, I'm not hurting my back. Back feels fine. Have you ever seen a keg throw in the strongman? People say the most absurd things. It's like, what do they have, glass spines or what? You can't heave over, bend over a little bit. Now here we go over to the concentration curl, working the 50s, getting better at it. When I started these progressions, I struggled very much to get 5 reps, 4 to 5 reps. Now we're up to 10. And so I'm taking advantage of the newfound strength and coordination with the 50-pounders to do drop sets. Now here we're doing a 3-station drop, top weight, second drop, and third drop, or third weight, which is 50s, 35s, and then we go down to 25s. I don't take each individual one to absolute failure. I just use the accumulation of increased workload to serve its purpose. And it's working. I mean, I do feel that my arms are getting stronger. These accessory moves have helped me with my pulls, with my pull-ups, with my back rows, and they are increasing in size also, especially now that I'm on my bulk. So, isolateral, we need to do both sides. Each side I treat as a separate set. I don't go from one side to the other without a rest. That would be a detrimental to the performance of the second side, be it if you start up with the left or the right. If you just go from one into the other without proper rest, it will be a detriment to your ability to perform maximally in that set. So here we're basically doing the same thing. 50-pound top set, dropping down to 35s and then to the 25s. Now, I am stronger on one side than the other. This is normal. This is natural. Nobody is perfectly balanced. Everybody's eyes are differently focused. Everybody's face is differently balanced. Humans are not perfectly symmetrical, and it's normal to have a stronger side, one side than the other. That's why people are right or left-handed by and large. Here we went into the meat and potato exercise for the day, the front delts. I have heard that this is a useless exercise, and it astounds me how indoctrinated people can be when they read something off the internet. You don't need to do front delt raises because you get enough front delt work from your bench press. Depends on your body type. Heavy pressing did not benefit my front delts. I expanded my side delts, but my front delts were woefully lacking, and this became incredibly apparent when I started working the front delts, because I've been doing these for about a month now, and my front delt is increasing in size. It is visibly getting larger than it was before, and I'm still doing heavy incline bench presses. But for my personal biometrics, it doesn't nail the front delt. Some people it might. Some people this might be an unnecessary move. But I see professional bodybuilders do these moves, and they move heavier bench presses than I do. So what gives? Ideology on the internet or the truth? What is the truth? Find out for yourself. Maybe you need to do front raises. In any case, getting good at these. Starting out with the 25s, went up to 35s, and then finished off with the 50s. Now, the 50s are feeling pretty darn smooth. I mean, they really are. I wish our gym had the 55s and 60s, these Atlantis dumbbells. We don't. The jump here is from 50 to 65 pounds. That's a pretty major jump. I could probably do the 65s, but it would be with a lot of body English to get the thing moved, to get it started. I might give it a try one day. So here, just getting more work. The idea today of doing these front delts was to go into the pain zone, the zone of burn and fatigue, not bursitis, not shoulder impingement, but the proper pain of high intensity work, and stay in that zone for a protracted period of time. So that's what I'm trying to do here, just building up volume. Once it gets fatigued, keep on going. Feel the pump, feel the burn. This is a hypertrophy day. This is recess. This is play day, arm and delts. I don't do heavy pressing movements for my delts right now because I do them on the bench press where I want to build up my PRs. I'll get back to the heavy overhead presses, just not doing them right now. They're not needed. This is benefiting me much more. So here we're with the 50-pounders, and I like to point my fingers downward, which shortens the moment arm. In other words, the arm shortens relative to the lever, making the lift a bit easier to perform. So it's basically trying to focus the entire weight on the front delt. And here we're doing the drop set, 50 pounds to 35, down to 25. And of course, this is an excellent tactic to intensify the set. You get more total work done than otherwise. You had just done a straight set with 50s. It hits more muscle fibers, different muscle fibers, and just working the last drop, the 25-pounders, until the arm just couldn't take it anymore. and I'm starting to see the bulge on my front delt. Absolutely. I know what's up with this thing. It is absolutely necessary for me to do. It's one of the best choices that I have made in recent times. I injured my shoulder a year and a half ago to the point where I couldn't lift my hand to feed myself at the dinner table. My shoulder pain was so great. Today, I can honestly and truthfully say I have zero. I'm talking about zero shoulder pain. I can reach behind my back. I can do any movement in any type of awkward position and lift very heavy weights and have zero shoulder issues. So when I hear somebody in the comment section say, I wince in pain when I see you lift, you are projecting your own fears, your own insufficiencies, and your own despair, really, and you're projecting it on somebody who doesn't have that issue. Maybe you wish he did, but that's not the case. I cured my shoulder issues by continuing with the heavy weight, but changing the angle of attack, and it's all gone today. Completely healed. Be 60 next year, feeling stronger than ever, feeling healthier, more alive, and just feeling happy about the workouts. Do what you need to do, find out what works for you, and stay at it. You can consult Google and the internet to help you on your way, but certainly don't take other people's opinions as gospel. Anyways, God bless you all. Thank you for joining me in this journey. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave a comment. Share the video. Again, thank you for joining me in this bodybuilding journey. It is getting more and more exciting as the weeks and the months progress.